Hey guys, welcome back to Professional Weekenders YouTube channel. Today we're here in the backyard and today we're going to be working on fixing our air conditioner for free or as cheaply as possible. So if you want to know how to fix yours, then you're in the right place. Make sure you stick around, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. Alright guys, so I just want to preference this by saying that I am in no ways a certified HVAC tech. I'm just a at-home DIYer and I've got a couple tools, and I have had to fix my air conditioner already 3 or 4 times. So depending on what the issue is, I'll take you through some basic troubleshooting and then show you what I do to fix it. Alright guys, so step 1, when you first realize that your air conditioner is not cooling down, the first thing that you want to do is make sure it's turned on, obviously. Make sure it's set to cool, yeah. Those are the basic idiot steps, right? Everyone goes through that. Next thing I would do is probably go to the air conditioner inside unit, check for the Freon line. That's the line that's going to be covered in that insulated foam material. You want to touch it and see, is it cold? If it's cold and it's frozen, that could be the issue, and you may just need to let it thaw and possibly start working again once it heats up. And here's a look at the inside unit, and this is that Freon line that I was talking about. You see how it's covered in all these little pool noodles type deals, and you find a crack in that, you can touch it and you'll feel real quick if it's hot or if it's cold. If it's warm, then that means that your outside condenser unit here is not functioning properly, and that's where you need to check out. So here are my outside units. I actually have 2 units. This one over here is the main house unit. That one is working fine today. This is our secondary unit just for an upstairs bedroom, and it is not working properly. So first thing you want to check is when it's set to cool, are the fan blades running? Right now it's not running because I have it turned off. But in the past I've seen that either the fan blades are not running and it's totally silent out here, or sometimes you'll hear this really annoying high-pitched buzzing noise. Right there, that's typically the cause of most of my issues. You see these ants crawling all over the place. The problem that I'm having today is when I turn this unit on, although it does work, it's actually producing a really high-pitched buzzing noise, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So this is my upstairs air conditioning thermostat, set to 96 right now because I haven't had it on in a few days. We'll go ahead and turn it to cool and let it kick on. And there you have it. So that's super annoying. I'm going to turn it back off. Okay. So as you can see, in my case, it actually does turn on. It just makes this really high-pitched annoying noise. There have been other cases where it doesn't turn on at all, and sometimes it'll still make that noise and sometimes it won't make any noise at all. But when it comes to this outside unit, they're really pretty basic. They're pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to them. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to open it up, and then I'll describe the parts that are inside and what you need. And for today, we're going to be using just a few basic tools. We got a couple screwdrivers, we got a voltage tester, and of course some rubber gloves. Alright, so first thing you want to do is make sure you cut the power. Make sure we stay as safe as possible. So typically you have one of these outside boxes here. Just want to pull that out. Set that up top so that way it doesn't accidentally go in there the wrong way or anything. And now we know that there should be no power running to this unit. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're just going to take this access cover here off the back. Yeah, so basically what we're looking at here, this thing's like a giant relay. They call it the contactor. This is what transfers the power from your in-home 120 volts. It's actually double line, so there's 240 volts running into this. And it supplies power to this thing up here. That's the capacitor. This thing's like a giant battery, basically. It provides enough power to jumpstart the electric motor that's in here that turns your, it turns the fan and starts the capacitor, and starts the condenser. That buzzing noise is actually coming from this device here, and it's actually a pretty simple device if you think about it in terms of just a standard electrical relay. So like I said, there are 2 lines here feeding into it. Each one supplies 120 volts or 400, so 240 volts total. Coming out of it, here's your output, and on either side are the low voltage control switches. So that's what moves the electromagnet inside that allows that completes the circuit to allow that 240 volts to continue throughout this thing. So basically these ones on the outside, those are what's connected to your thermostat inside. So when you turn the air conditioner on, it sends a relay down here that closes, that charges that electromagnet, closes the circuit, and powers that that capacitor. So what we need to do is we need to remove this contactor here, this relay, because that's what's making the noise, and oftentimes that's what's causing your system to not start. So step one here is, even though that we went ahead and we made sure that the power is unplugged, I like to just go ahead and double check everything here, make sure that there's no additional power with my contactless, power detector here, and it's all coming back negative, so that's good. The other thing to be aware of is these capacitors. Just because the power is turned off doesn't necessarily mean that there's no power in that capacitor, and these things are very strong and they can definitely hurt you, if not even possibly kill you. So do everything you can to not touch anything up in that area, and that's why wearing the rubber gloves is the way to go. In order to get this thing removed, first we're just going to disconnect all the wires. Make sure that you pay attention to what wires go where, because when you reconnect it, you're going to want to put all those wires back in the same place. So like I mentioned, the ones on the outside here, these are your low voltage. The ones up here are the ones that go to your capacitor. So again, be very careful with these, although I did show that there's no voltage there. Alright, set those aside. The ones down below here are your house power, 120 volts on each side. So you just unscrew those, pull them out. Alright, now that we got all the wires off, we can unscrew the screws that hold this thing on and take the whole contactor out. Alright, so here's what that contactor looks like when it's outside of the unit. This is the side that connects to the house power, this is the side that connects to the capacitor. Here's your low voltage connections on either side. And basically what this is, like I mentioned, so low voltage comes in on one of these side ones. There's a little spring right there. So you can see when this spring collapses here, that little pieces, the little two pieces of metal down there go, and they complete the circuit. All in all, this thing's not in too bad a shape. I actually did take it all apart and I cleaned it the other day. All right, so that's going to be the free way to fix this. If you're having problems with the outside condenser not starting or making that buzzing noise, first thing you want to do is take this out, take it apart, basically just all the little screws you see, disconnect them. This whole thing comes apart pretty simple, and then you can just clean all the contacts. A lot of times you'll find, in my case, this is why I had to do it like 4 times, because all those ants crawl in there and I get tons of bug guts up in this thing, and it just gets all nasty and gross, and that's what causes it to not have a clean connection and either not start or create that buzzing noise as that electricity is arcing across this. So they're actually really cheap too, and you can just buy a brand new replacement like I have here. I bought this on Amazon. It was like 12 bucks. So no big deal if you can wait the 2 days on shipping. If it's hot and you need your air conditioner today, I'd recommend go ahead and fixing that by cleaning it. Maybe go ahead and order a new one of these to fix at a different time. So that's basically what I did. About 2 weeks ago, I was having some problems here where the outside conditioner was not starting at all. And I pulled that apart, I cleaned it, I got it all working. It worked for a few days, and then again, I think some more ants must have crawled up in there. But in the meantime, I went ahead and ordered a brand new one of these, and I'm just gonna go ahead and swap in the new one. All right, so here's a look of the new one versus the old one side by side. You can definitely see how gross and corroded that old one is. What you wanna keep track of is the L1, L2, it's hard to see, but it's marked here. Those are your line ends, so that's your 120 volts on each side, and then T1, T2, those are going to be your output sides. So let's go ahead and pop it back in there. Alright, next up, now we'll go ahead and we'll connect our lines at the top. Remembering the order they went in, it doesn't really matter too much, as long as you got the right sides. Alright, we'll connect our low voltage on either side here. Alright, and then we'll connect our house power. Feels secure. connect the other one. All right, there you have it. Pretty easy. All right, so before we button everything back up, we are going to go ahead and turn the power back on and give it a test. Set to on position. All right, and now the moment of truth. We'll go ahead and turn the system back on and see if it makes that crazy noise. There it goes. No more buzzing noise. All right, great success. All right, so pretty easy. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it back off because I'm gonna reattach that cover. So basically you don't need to stick around for that. You know how to do that. But another tip I would give you is at this point, probably a good idea to go ahead and spray some sort of insecticide around the area. Because like I said, typically your issue is gonna be some sort of bugs, like in my case, ants. We've also seen a snake get up in there once before and fry itself. So you want to spray the air for bugs, try to keep all the little critters out, and you should be good to go. So that's going to do it for us today. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this and some amazing travel videos. And with that being said, we're out of here and we'll see you next weekend. All right guys, so I just want to say, maybe we'll cut that, and check for the and check for the, and I've happened to had yellow flies, man. What we're looking at here, this is basically, it's like a giant relay. I think they call it a what do they call this thing? That reminds me. Yeah. And I was having problem. Oh man, giant mosquito. Fucking mosquitoes, man. It's hard to do when you're looking at the camera and trying to look what you're doing here.